All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and the glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect out there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rakakwadash, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners who may have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. All right, and what I want to get into with this lesson, this morning, is go into it was necessary. It was necessary. Everything that we've been through in our life, it was necessary to bring us to this point. Even things before the truth, things in the truth, well, they're all necessary, to keep us in the truth and to keep us on this path of salvation. Okay? The elect steps, are ordered. Okay? And everyone's steps are ordered. Okay? But the elect steps are ordered to salvation. So the Lord causes certain things to happen, certain incidents, certain betrayals, certain setbacks. We have lows, we have highs. Okay, we come from, different upbringings, and all these things played a part, different jobs, different responsibilities that we've had over our life, different circumstances and situations. All these things were necessary, for us to be customized for our office. Okay, in this truth, you look at, the upbringing of the apostles. Okay, you look at Peter, fishermen. Okay, amongst, the lower tier. But then you had Apostle Paul, who was a little more exposed to society. He was a Roman citizen, but he was an Israelite. And he was of a Pharisee, a very strict set. Okay, so he had that duality about himself to where he can deal, with the Israelite foreigners. Okay, then get on the level, all right, with the circumcision when it came to the law. He was customized for his office. His whole upbringing was to customize him for his office, man. Okay? So you look at, even amongst the body, amongst the camp, you have all these different men from different walks of life where the Lord was customizing these men for their office in this truth, man. Okay? So everything was necessary. All right? Now, when you go into the book of Jeremiah, okay, this Jeremiah 10:23 says, "O Lord, Yahweh Bashem Al Shah, I know the way of man is not in himself. It is not in man that walketh to direct his steps." So a man's life is planned out. Okay? So there were certain things that, we had to learn. And the thing is, we learn from everything. When you look back, even now, I always look back and I can start seeing why the Lord had me go through this, why he had me go through that, why I had to do this, because a lot of things don't make sense in the moment, but then it makes sense on the back end. The Lord shows us why. Okay, I brought you through this because of this. You see, you had to learn this, not even as individuals, but even as a nation, we had to go through these captivities, man, because what does the scripture say? Let's get this in Psalms. As a nation, we had to go through these captivities. Wasn't no getting around it. It was always set up from the beginning for us to go through these captivities. But the Lord was refining us in these captivities, man. These captivities are refining us for the rulership at the end of this thing. You see, when you go to Psalms 119 and 119 and 71, I read in NLT. It says, "My suffering was good for me, for it taught me to pay attention to your decrees." Okay, so the suffering of Yahweh Bashem Al Shah was good for us, man. Because what it taught us to pay attention to his decree, to appreciate righteousness, man. The Lord had to put us in a circumstance to where we will thirst for righteousness, man. Well, the only way to thirst for something is to be deprived of it, man. So he put us in this wicked kingdom ran by Esau, okay, to where now we thirst for righteousness, man, and we see that wickedness ain't the play, man. You know, we see that the only way to run, all right, the earth is with the wisdom and the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashim Al Shah. Ain't no alternative ways, man. No matter how cute it sounds, how dressed up it is, how appeasing it is to the flesh, man. Ain't no way outside of the righteousness of the scriptures, which is the wisdom of Yahweh Bashim Al Shah, that the earth should be ran. And we thirst for earth ran in righteousness, man. Okay? But in order to thirst for something, you have to be deprived of it, man. Okay? So it was all necessary, man. Okay? That's why we didn't have so much appreciation for the kingdom, all right? And the Lord is depriving us for certain things. You know, you brothers, you know, hey, we're going to be deprived of certain things. We're not going to have everything on this side, man. We're going to be deprived. Okay? We're deprived of power and authority. Okay? But we're going to appreciate the power and authority given to us by Yahweh Shah in the kingdom. Okay? And we're going to understand the responsibility aspect of it. Okay? So everything was necessary, man. Like I said, every woman that left, every job, because the Lord gives us certain antagonists in our life. Certain, obstacles, and see, it be all about us, because the people don't change. The Lord be wanting us to change. He knows they're not going to change, but He'll place certain people in our path, to make us level up. Okay, so where it ain't about playing the victim, and no, it's about leveling up. Like, okay, I gotta move different in this situation. You see, I gotta maneuver better in this situation. I gotta apply wisdom. You see, the Lord puts us in a situation that we're forced to apply wisdom, man. You see, so we have to understand that every part of this process is necessary. It's perfecting us, man. You see, that's why you go to Hebrews 2:10. We always get it. Certain brothers get fired. Coming to the truth, get fired. It was necessary, man. Certain, women leave. Certain, brothers lost families. Okay, it was necessary for us to be the outcast of the family. Okay, it's preparing us to be the outcast of society when this sea hill drop, man. So everything that comes with the truth, man, the good, the bad, the in between, the highs, the lows, the betrayals, the disappointments, the setbacks, the letdowns, the doom, whatever, is all necessary, man. When you go to Hebrews 2:10, it says, "For it became Him, okay, for whom are all things, and by whom are all things, and bringing many sons unto glory, to make the captain of their salvation perfect through suffering," man. And there's only perfection in suffering. You see? So we have to suffer to get to perfect. I say, as a nation, the captivities we suffered. Okay, and amongst these captivities, the elect was being refined for this time, for this moment. Okay, and then within the elect, we have our individual suffering, man, the things that are necessary for us to fulfill our office, man. Like when you look back at, the big changes that, that we go through, man, it was all based on certain moments when the Lord had something that happened that triggered, a change in behavior, a change in perspective, a change in outlook. Okay, and it was all necessary to keep us on the path of salvation, man. Certain things are meant to humble us, keep us humble, so we don't get, puffed up. Certain things are make us the Most High put a spiritual foot in our ass, man, to tighten up. Okay? But whatever it is, it's all necessary, man. It's all about the finished product. Yahweh Shema Al Shah is all about the finished product. Okay? And right now we're going through the process to become that finished product. So when you go to, let's go here to the book of Sirach, chapter 30 and verse 1. Sirach 30:1, it says, "He that loveth his son causeth him oft to feel the ride, that he may have joy of him in the end." So he that loveth his son, which the Heavenly Father, he loves, his people at this time, the elect of his people. Okay, and you have, all right, those first fruits, the 144,000. Okay, the men that the Lord has raised up in these last days, and he calls us off the field of ride. Every now and then he'll reach out, and you can tell, I know, because you can call yourself being proactive, crossing your T's and dotting your I's, and, you set to go. Okay, and then just crazy stuff started happening, man. I'm saying, here we go. You can tell when the Lord is intentionally sabotaging the situation. And then the thing is, because the flesh wants to be offended and pout. And nah, man, hey, just take a breath. Okay? Because there's another thing too, no matter how chaotic it can get, it's always an outlet. The Lord always leaves an outlet. And the Lord wants us to, he's forcing us to that outlet, all right, to go through a certain door. You see, the Lord know how to cut off options to where, no, you're going to go through this door. We can have our mind made and we can think we in the right spirit and we got everything laid out and boom, good. And the Most High start shutting things down and like, no, go through this door. It's the door y'all want you to go through. Okay? And that's how the Lord do, man. Like I said, I can tell certain things that start happening back to back, and be crazy. The timing be up. Get to the point you laugh in the middle of it, man. And I believe personally, the Most High, I was shy to be laughing too, man. Especially you realize like, oh, here we go. But then the thing is to see, okay, what does the Lord want me to see in this moment? What does He require from me in this moment? Because the easiest thing to play victim and pout and, try to push it off on somebody else. And no. The Lord is dealing with us. All right? He's dealing with us as a body, and He deals with the body as individual parts. Okay? To forward the whole body. Because even what we go through as an individual is meant to us to go through that, to be refined, so we can be better for the body, a better fit for the body, man. So, yeah, that's the point. Just want to get into that, Lord will, you brothers. All right, and you few sisters edified once again. Want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, and Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS, who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers, and peace and blessings, salutations to the whole Philip Shalom.